My name is Tammy Amanda Brown, and I am doing the reflection of the TEM class at Full Sail University. The first couple of questions we have involve learning, and the first question is, what did you learn about or share about your industry during your time in this course? The second question is, what did you learn about your own future during this period of industry exploration? So I feel like I have to answer both of these questions together because they kind of go hand in hand, because the more I learned about the industry, the more I learned how that could affect my future in the industry. My industry is game design, and just learning all about the new technologies and things that I didn't know about the industry before. I knew that I would have to try to keep up to date with technology, otherwise I could get left behind. But I didn't realize just how many hours a week. I didn't realize how many hours a week that people who do game design actually work, and also how difficult it can be for independent game developers or game designers. So what I have learned about the gaming industry is that it actually has been one of the biggest growing industries in recent years, and it appears that it will do so in the future, and also has provided a lot to the U.S. economy alone, and provided quite quite a bit of jobs in just in the last 5 years, and it appears that it will continue to grow. The interest in gaming seems to be growing more and more every day, and there also seems to be more of a demand for people with a skill set that a degree in game design offers, which learning more about the industry itself helped me to realize all the things that I should take into account with my own future in the industry. And since the future of game design is actually looking very bright, I believe that there'll be a lot of job opportunities for me when I graduate, and also that learning about the industry, not only with my degree in game design, but in the degree for game art as well, has actually made it more clear what it is that I am getting into, and has kind of eliminated any concerns as far as if I'm in the right program for my natural skill sets, because I was wondering about game art at one point, and I noticed that when I actually studied all the skills and technology and things that I would have to learn, and what roles those people actually play in the game design industry, I feel a lot more comfortable with my choice in game design. For one, I haven't drawn much, not skillfully anyway, since I was about 12 years old, and so I would be very uncomfortable with having to learn to draw all over again, I would feel a little bit inadequate compared to some people who never stopped developing that skill throughout high school and early adulthood. Um, and whereas the other, I actually found out that with game design that there are some creative elements to it as well, so I wouldn't be, missing out on my need to be able to be creative. Um, both, I found out both actually play a big role in the story writing and the design and all that. So that makes me feel a lot better as far as my future in the industry. The only thing I would worry about with my future is that VR is becoming more and more um, dominant, and the technology that will be coming out, it's going to be even harder now to stay up to date with current technology than it ever has been before. We're in a fast developing technological society right now. And there does seem to be a lot more people getting interested in the game design industry. But for most of the part, the future in gaming industry is looking very bright. So the third question that I have to answer in my reflection is in the usage of the things that I have learned during this class. So the question is, going forward, how will you apply the skills and concepts you've gained to your future success, both in your academic career as well as your professional career? One of the things that is more important to me after taking this class is the need for a schedule. As difficult as it may be, I mean, at one time I was able to make and stick to a schedule very well, but I've been having a hard time with that the last few years, and I'm realizing how much it causes me to struggle, both in school as well as the other professional interests I may have, as far as YouTube, let alone game design, like maintaining a job or anything really, with not being able to schedule. So that's a skill that I would like to work on to continue developing, and this class has made me see how important it is to develop that skill. So I believe developing a routine is necessary for success in your personal life as well as your career or academic life. So going forward, I want to continue to work on having a schedule. I think that I might try to start small, like just sticking to a couple things I want to get done a certain day of the week. And then, when I'm doing good at that, then work on adding, like a couple of other things, to each day, and until I'm on a more normal or reasonable schedule that hopefully, will be fully formed before I graduate. So the last question that we have is passing on what you've learned. If you could give the upcoming TEM classes some advice, what words of wisdom would you offer to those students to help them get the most they can from this experience? Well, I actually have a little bit of advice which might not be specifically for this class, but some of it might be general, and then I do have one that is specific for this class. The first thing that I would say is to clean your room, or at least have a clean space that you can go to for your academic endeavors, whether it be studying or completing your assignments. But, certainly I believe cleaning your room, like that's a good band-aid, but it's not going to give you the benefits as cleaning your room will. I am, still having to work with that, which I believe correlates to my poor performances in life and school right now, and why I struggle so much to concentrate, because your room really is you. The bedroom represents your state of mind, and if you have a messy or cluttered room, then you have a cluttered mind. You get distracted easily. Your head feels foggy most of the time. It's just, everything is all messy up in there. And so I would really say to try to, even if you're busy, like I've gotten so far behind, it's going to take me a while to get my room cleaned to where it's actually functional and looks nice. I'm hoping I'm about halfway there. But I would try to every day, find something in your room that you could fix. Even if it's something as simple as, well, I should really take the clothes off of the floor and put them in the laundry basket, or I should really put my shoes, in the closet or under my bed or wherever. Try to find something, like one thing every single day that you can fix about your room. And, before you know it, you'll have a good room that is clean and where you can think more clearly. And, really, your room should be your safe haven away from the world. And when your room is messy, it's not. It feels more like a dirty prison that you can't escape from. So that would just be some general advice, whether you're in school or not in school. The other thing I would like to say, as far as this class, is to learn to care about your industry. Like actually become interested in your industry rather than just what your job will be in your industry, because this class really taught me that learning about your industry is extremely important, because anything that's happening in that industry in this country and around the world really affects your job when it comes down to it. Everything trickles down. And in fact, usually with the way companies are, it actually goes the opposite way. It, trickles down to the lower level, and the ones at the bottom are the ones who pay the most within the industry. And so you really do need to know what is going on in your industry, and if you've graduated, your employers, what is the history of the company. Have they had any lawsuits or made bad investments, or anything like that. I would advise you to make sure you do your research whenever, before being hired from a company. I said it was supposed to be about this class, but it's kind of more general advice. For this class, I will say this, which also applies to other classes, but I'm going to use it specifically for this class, is to really give yourself enough time to do everything. which you know how much time that you need to, on average, to get your assignments done, especially at this point in the class or in school. Um, so whether you're somebody who needs to study a lot or needs to study just a little, you know these things about yourself by now. And also, if you're a pessimist like me, then you really know how much time you need to get things done. And so that would be the second thing I would add to that, which is, give yourself enough time and also be very strict about it, where, you don't let anyone talk you into going and doing whatever. When you said that at, 8 p.m. tonight, you're, going to write, 2 paragraphs or 3 paragraphs or whatever, or read a chapter, So I would make sure that, you really need to put yourself first and understand that everyone else most likely is putting themselves first, and even if, they're the nicest people and don't mean to do it, they're not going to be considerate of the fact that you have things to get done. Especially with schooling, especially with online schooling, a lot of times people think that if you're on your computer, if you're on your phone, then you're not busy or you're not getting work done. And, that should be changing very soon, because there's so many people who that is their job, is through their phone or computer. Like a lot of jobs are online now, a lot of schools are online now, so hopefully that will change in the near future. But just remember that you are the one who is responsible, has to be responsible, and that you have to put the things that matter to you first. And sometimes that might mean you have to make it matter. Another thing I would say is maybe to listen to a certain music whenever you go to study or do schoolwork. Not music that you like or enjoy or listen to normally. And I would really suggest listening to instrumental music or instrumental beats where, there's no lyrics or anything. And just find you a certain beat or a certain type of instrumental music to listen to, that when you start playing it, it immediately puts you into the zone of, okay, let's get things done, okay, let's study, okay, let's write this paper, whatever it is that you need to do, whatever it is, like find that thing that helps you to focus or to get in the mindset of it's time to work, it's time to get to business, I often forget about this one myself, and need to do better at that. Yeah, so that's just a little bit or a lot of advice for future students. Okay, so that's it for my reflection video for the TEM class. I actually really enjoyed this class, and I really did learn a lot from it, because I learned about my industry, and it was definitely a experience for me. I kind of complained about the class at the beginning when I first had to research some things about the industry, because I'm like, I don't know anything about the game design industry, and it's like, well, maybe you should learn about that, it's like, why would have I not researched anything about something I plan on doing for, even if it's not the rest of my life, for the next decade? So I'm really glad that this class made me do that it made me research the gaming industry, because, once I started reading different things on it, then it actually became interesting to me, and I wanted to know more, and, I had questions from the first thing I read, which then I looked up other articles that answered those questions, and then those articles created more questions, and, it was a great learning experience for me, and I really actually enjoyed this class. And so, but thank you for watching, and have a great day.